I've scored a few, but none as big as the one in the derby. So
That will always be.
yeah, that's always going to be the goal. It doesn't matter what I do from now to the end of my career. That'll always be the one goal.
And if there was a player you'd love Everton to sign, you'd love to play with as a teammate, who would it be? Past or present?
I think if I'm just going off the top of my head right now, I'd sign Erling Haaland.
James Tarkowski, thank you for joining us on Koora Break Extra Time.
My pleasure.
You were born in Manchester.
Yes.
Take us back to your childhood.
Yeah, out playing a lot of sport all the time. I grew up right next to my primary school where I lived, so there was a big field there, and probably most of my childhood was spent playing football, playing cricket on there, and then most weekends travelling to play football here, there and everywhere. My parents were very dedicated to letting me play sport, and so it took me all around the country really in the end.
And so you said cricket, was it always football for you? Did you always want to be a footballer, or could there have been that path of?
No, football was always my main priority. Cricket was more just a hobby I had with my friends, where we almost made like our own cricket pitch on the field where we lived. But for me it was always football. Football all year round, even through the summer when the sort of season ends. There was always tournaments locally or even nationally that my parents would take me to with our local team. And
which team did you support?
Manchester United.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And your favourite player?
Probably David Beckham.
Okay.
I was very lucky that my parents, we had season tickets at Old Trafford up until I was 16, so I got to experience a lot of great occasions at Old Trafford.
And you started your career in the youth setup at Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately you were let go.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to looking back, would you have ever thought that setback you'd be here now as an elite centre back?
No, maybe not at probably the moment I left Blackburn. But I sort of understood at the time when I left. I understood why. I wasn't sort of delusional as to why I was leaving. I understood that I probably wasn't physically ready to go and play that level of football. I almost felt a little bit out of place at the time, really. Everyone was a bit quicker, taller, stronger than me, and I sort of felt that everyone was a bit better than me, really. So I was quite happy to get out of that environment because I knew I wasn't really fitting in very well. But then very quickly after I left, physically I matured, grew up, got stronger again, and then suddenly started to fit in, and then was playing men's football not long after that. Because
your strength, like now, if you look at your defensive stats and everything, you're like elite level. So it's like back then, it just took you time to grow and.
Yeah, no, I was big up until ages probably 12, 13, and then everyone carried on growing, and I sort of stopped probably for probably 2 years really. So everyone sort of went past me, and I was never the quickest. So everyone was bigger and quicker than me, which didn't help. And as I said, shortly after I left Blackburn, I think I left end of under 14s. By 15, 16, I was bigger and stronger than everyone else again of my age. So maybe it was just timing, and maybe now with sort of the information that clubs have and the knowledge that clubs have, maybe Blackburn would have kept me knowing I was going to grow a bit more. But it was pretty obvious at the time that I wasn't fitting in with my age group, and everyone was sort of ahead of me. So it made sense to leave.
And you then, from there, you went through like some non-league, and then you ended up at Oldham. You became a first-team regular at the age of 20, and you started getting noticed by bigger and bigger clubs. Oldham at the time were League One, but you moved sideways. You moved to Brentford. You'd spent most of your life up north in the Greater Manchester area. What was it about Brentford at the time that you chose to leave your comfort zone of up north to come back down to London?
Well, you said sideways, which in terms of league it was sideways. Yeah. I soon realised when I went to Brentford it definitely wasn't sideways. The way that club was run, the staff they had, the facilities they had, the money they were spending, it looked sideways, but the way that them two teams were competing in the same league probably wasn't fair really. Brentford were way ahead of them, ahead of Oldham. There was a lot of links with other teams at the time, but Oldham was in a sort of a stage where they needed to finish off a stand within the stadium. The owner didn't have lots of money, and it was all about basically bringing people in and selling them and then sort of replacing them with people cheaper. So I almost knew from probably October, November time that I was going to get sold. It was almost just the highest bidder, and Brentford were the highest bidder, which at the time I'd heard of Brentford, but that was about as much as I knew about them. But then by the time I went to visit the club, I soon seen how it was ran, the players they had, the way it was going. And as you can tell from my time there, that it was very successful. We had a promotion, then we had a playoff campaign the season after in the Championship, where we came very close to becoming a Premier League club within 18 months of playing League One football. So the progress was really quick. And
you were there at the start of when they were League One. They're now a very established Premier League team. Are you at all surprised?
No, it was always going to happen. It was definitely always going to happen. The owner, Matthew Benham, was running the club amazingly. It was never going to just be a smooth sailing journey. It was always going to take a bit of time, but I think it was a bit inevitable. At some point they were going to become a Premier League club, and as you can see by the way they're doing now and the way they've done the last few seasons, it was only ever going to go one way.
And you do well at Brentford, and you move again, like I said, it's not like a sideways step in the same division when you're already a Championship player, teams in the Premier League already wanted you, and you moved back up north to Burnley. What was behind that decision?
Yeah, I think sometimes you almost hear the rumours of other teams and read it in the papers. I was the same myself. That's as much as you sort of hear yourself sometimes. But ultimately it comes down to the club who puts the money in and faces it up. And Burnley were the team that did that. And I was always quite keen at that point to get back into the Northwest to be around my family again. So it was the move that made the most sense. Burnley were looking like a promotion candidate at the time, and when I joined, they went on an incredible run and never lost a game when I was there for that season. And ended up being champions and promoted. And it was a great way to start my time at Burnley.
And does it feel weird that these two clubs, one was one you joined in the Championship, one you joined in League One, and now you're an established Premier League player with Everton? Does it feel weird to play them at times?
Yeah, I think probably the first time I did it a little bit, especially Burnley, because my Brentford spell didn't end very well when I left on either side, so it was always going to be strange going back there. But then, especially Burnley, I spent so many years there. I loved my time there. We had great success. So the first time going back to Burnley felt strange, but I've played them a few times now, so not so much.
Got used to it now.
Yeah.
And you've gone from non-league. You've consistently from Oldham to League One to Championship and now to Premier League. You just get better and better and better, more consistent. What is it about you that has enabled you to be this elite centre back? And is there anyone you'd say has been there from the start to guide you?
There's been plenty of people involved in my journey. Also, my parents who started me off. I said they weren't pushy, but they were supported me through my journey from a very young age, sacrificing a lot of their life and their time to travel around the country, spending a lot of evenings travelling in and around the Northwest to sessions, and then every coach and every manager and every sort of that I've never really felt out my depth in the end. So I've been lucky to get the opportunity to play at the level. But then I've just had to work hard at that level to stay there and become comfortable and just try to do my best to stay there.
And with that, you've been at this club now for 4 years, and congratulations on signing a new deal.
Thank you.
When you joined Everton, it isn't, and we've done a tour of Finch Farm, we've done a tour of Hill Dickinson, and you can see that there is this positivity around the club, and it looks like it's no longer being this like sleeping giant that hasn't won the title since the 80s. It looks that the club is getting to that next stage. When you first joined, the club wasn't like that. What have you seen at Everton that has changed in these 4 years?
It's been rocky, I would say, in my time here, and this is probably the first season really that it's felt stable, solid, ambitious, and I would almost say that everyone's sort of on the same hymn sheet, sort of singing the same hymn sheet as the saying goes, because it feels like everyone's on board and sort of not expecting but hoping and wanting us to have a good season. They say the club's massive, the fan base is incredible. Now we've got the amazing stadium to go with it. We're building a squad of elite players, and it's going to take time. It's going to take work. It's not going to be a smooth sailing ride for sure, but we're hopeful and we're working to be a top team in this league and really compete.
And with you now as one of the as a senior statesman in the team, first team regular, one of the first names on the team sheet, and you see it like your rejection at Blackburn. Do you ever take time with the youth players to say, listen, there's going to be some setbacks, there's going to be some things, and they just keep working hard, keep adapting, and you'll eventually get there?
Yeah, I try and guide when I can. We don't get loads of time around the younger players, but the people in and around the first team, even the lads who are playing in the first team but are still quite young and still quite new to it, I try and give them a little bit of knowledge or guidance, or just push them or support them when they need it sometimes. Everyone needs a little bit of something a bit different. Some people need maybe a bit of a grilling sometimes just to wake them up, and other people need a little arm around the shoulder and just to say that, like, listen, keep doing what you're doing, you'll get an opportunity. Because we all have different journeys. I came from lower league and worked my way through it. Some of these lads are 19, 20 years old and they're playing Premier League already. I was a sub at Oldham when I was 19, 20 years old. So these lads are way ahead of where I was at that age. But we're all on a different path, and yeah, if I can give a bit of guidance when I can, I will try. My job is to make sure that we're pushing, people are motivated, and also ultimately to get results on the pitch.
And we're going to move on to some general questions now. Who's the toughest player you faced in training?
Probably Illiman and Dye at the minute. The way he's playing at the minute is impossible to get the ball off him. He's not the tallest, but he's physically so strong, agile, quick. He's got the ball on a bit of string, so definitely right now, Illiman is the toughest player to train against.
And if there was a player you'd love Everton to sign, you'd love to play with as a teammate, who would it be? Past or present?
I think if I'm just going off the top of my head right now, I'd sign Erling Haaland and just get him up front and score as many goals as I can, because scoring goals is the way you win football matches. So if you have a striker who's going to score goals, then especially as many goals as he does, he's not just scoring one or two. He's scoring big numbers. So I think any team will be lucky to have him in their side.
I have a feeling I know the answer. What is your favourite goal you've ever scored or been involved in?
Yeah. I wish I had a long list of goals to pick from, but I've only got one.
You've actually, I've seen through your history, you've scored some very important goals.
I've scored a few, but none as big as the one in the derby. So
that will always be.
Yeah, that's always going to be the goal. It doesn't matter what I do from now to the end of my career. That'll always be the one goal that'll get brought up. And
you've played with some good players at Everton. You've played with some good players at England, Brentford and Burnley. Who was your dream five-a-side from players you've played with?
Dream five-a-side. It's going to have to be Jordan in net. Picks himself. Look at his England record, look at the amount of caps he's got, the amount of clean sheets he's got. So I can't not pick Jordan in net. I'm picking myself, obviously. So that gives me 3 more players to pick. Yeah. Harry Kane up top. Probably Declan Rice. And then I'm going to go Illiman and Dye. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3? Yeah, 5. Yeah.
And is Dye the most the player you've been? You said to the toughest person. Do you think is he the guy who always impresses you whenever you watch him, either when you're on the field or when you're training against him?
Yeah, he's got a real determination and grit about him. As good as he is on the ball, he's probably very easy you see some players with that talent to maybe just not do the other side of the game, but he does both all the time. And he didn't turn up last pre-season when we signed him as that player. His development's been incredible since he's been here. And yeah, he's really pushing top levels now, and for me he's one of the standout players in the league.
And when it comes to you between games, how do you mentally prepare and physically prepare for games, and then how do you unwind after a game?
Yeah, I've always took my preparation very seriously. I think as I've got older, I've just tried to be a bit more relaxed about it. I know how to look after myself. I know how to eat well. I know how to recover well. I need to sleep well. So I probably used to put a bit too much emphasis on it at one point. Whereas if I miss one tiny detail, that I'd probably beat myself up about it going into the game. Whereas probably with maturity and aging a little bit, I've realised that as long as I focus on the important bits that I need to do, then I'll look after myself. And sorry, what was the other question?
How do you unwind between games?
Yeah, I have 2 children, so
a lot of time. You're not really unwinding.
Yeah, no, they keep me busy. But yeah, probably mentally, it gives me a chance to sort of not focus on the football side too much and enjoy spending time with them. So that's the easiest way to do it.
And speaking of unwinding, is the season's over, or if you have like a really huge break, where do you like to travel?
Probably to America, really. I've just been to New York recently. We've taken my little girl to Florida a couple of years ago and she loved it there. So probably America, just because the variety of places you get to visit. And then we've travelled to Dubai a few times just because the weather's always great, the people are great, the service is great. So yeah, they're probably the two standouts for me. Is there
a holiday destination you'd like to go to that you've never been to yet?
Yeah, I'd like to go on a safari, which is obviously in Africa. So yeah, exact location, not sure, but somewhere in Africa for a safari at some point.
And favourite foods?
Probably two cuisines. I love Japanese and Lebanese food.
Okay. I'm Lebanese, so I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. No, there's a place around Manchester, a restaurant there, and the food's amazing. I love it. The dips, baba ganoush, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the breads and the meats and the salad.
And if there was a movie about your life, which actor would you like to play?
I watched a film recently with him, and I really like, Austin Butler. He played Elvis in the Elvis film.
I know the actor. He's in Bullet Train, right? He was the guy in Bullet Train. I think so.
No.
Is he Bullet Train? No. Neither. No. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Austin Butler. You know who Austin Butler is? What else has he been in? He was in the Elvis film. He's in something else.
Okay.
I watched a film the other day with him in. What was it called? I can't remember. It's a new film. It's just out. But yeah, I like him. And
okay.
I keep mentioning the Elvis film, but the Elvis film's amazing. So definitely watch it.
And to end this, what is your personal and professional goals for the future?
Yeah, professionally is play as many games in this football league as I can. It's the best league in the world, the Premier League, so the longer I can stay here, the better, really. And then beyond that, personally, I'd probably like to go and experience living abroad at some point. Not too sure where that'll be, but maybe just a change of scenery, change of weather, and see if I enjoy that way of life once I retire, whenever that may be.
Are you looking? Would you see when you see Ronaldo playing as long as he has, or how Maldini played as long as he has at Ryan Giggs? Is this something that you'd like to play as long as possible? That or maybe not?
No, definitely. Yeah, as long as I can. There'll also be deciding factors how my body holds up, and if people still want to keep picking me to play and be part of a squad. But yeah, for sure, right now I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
James Tarkowski, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.